chaos of the mind, there's a truth we must find. Gold and white brings the pieces, broken but divine. What's left from the past, what's still standing fast? Chaos magic's alive, but what's shifting at last? Grimoires and dragons, saints and devils, in the ancient rituals, the puzzle unravels. Spirits.
All right, let's dive in. We're taking a deep dive today into Gordon White's Pieces of Eight.
Ah, yes.
This book, it's a fascinating blend of science, history, and, a touch of esotericism. We're going to explore some really mind-bending ideas about consciousness, magic, and even the nature of reality.
It really is a fascinating book. What really stood out to me was how White challenges materialism. Like, it's not even just incomplete, but it's actually failing to explain the very things that it claims to define. Like, take dark matter and dark energy, for example.
Yeah, and I think he makes that point so well with the the whole Rihanna lives in your radio analogy. It's like
it's perfect.
It drives home the absurdity of that.
Totally.
But I have to say, what I found even more intriguing was his exploration of animism as a more, I guess, viable alternative. And, it's not just about like talking trees, about recognizing that consciousness maybe, just maybe, isn't limited to, this human experience.
It's not just us, I mean, animism suggests that everything is interconnected, possesses this form of agency. It's a really radical shift in perspective.
It is. Imagine if we, approached everyday objects with like this sense of respect, like they have,
like they're alive,
a form of aliveness.
Right.
It's wild to think about.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit here. White also talks a lot about the importance of understanding, the history of magic.
Yeah.
Especially for those who practice it. Why do you think that's so crucial?
Well, he argues that a lot of what we, think we know about the history of magic, it's actually inaccurate or incomplete.
Interesting.
And that can be dangerous for those who are practicing, right? It can lead you down the wrong path, limit your effectiveness.
So it's like, I don't know.
Kind of like
trying to bake a cake and not knowing the difference between
flour and sugar.
Yeah, the flour and sugar. Exactly.
Basically.
Okay, so it's not just about being like a history buff.
No.
It's about reclaiming the narrative.
Yeah.
Understanding the true roots.
Absolutely.
What they're practicing.
I mean, by really understanding the historical context, we can avoid a lot of misinterpretations, develop a deeper appreciation for the traditions, we're engaging with.
Yeah.
It's about empowering ourselves with knowledge, not just blindly following what we've been told.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us into another important point, which is health and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really sugarcoat things, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's pretty critical of mainstream medicine, over-reliance on pharmaceuticals and the lack of emphasis on preventative things like nutrition.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how few hours are actually devoted to nutrition in medical schools now.
I know.
It seems so counterintuitive. Like, how can you, ignore something that's so crucial to our overall health?
Yeah.
What I did find really insightful was his three-pronged approach to well-being. You've got detoxification, biome diversity, and of course, nutrition. It's a more holistic view, I think. It goes beyond just treating symptoms,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's about taking a proactive approach, right?
Yeah.
Understanding the interconnectedness, not just of our physical well-being, but also our mental and, even spiritual well-being. He really wants us to become our own advocates, question the information we're given, and seek out practices that resonate with us.
Yeah, so it's not about like rejecting modern medicine entirely. It's about, supplementing it.
Exactly.
With a deeper understanding of ourselves and a willingness to explore other approaches.
Absolutely. It's about taking ownership, of our well-being.
All right, so get ready for a little twist. White talks about the saints. And this was surprising to me.
Yeah.
He challenges the whole,
the typical occult view.
Yeah.
That they're just replacements for pagan deities.
Right.
Instead, he suggests that, the veneration of saints could be seen as a continuation of ancient necromantic practices.
Wait, necromancy? Like communicating with the dead?
Yes.
Wow.
Think about it. Back then, in a world where spirits and magic were just, a given, the saints were seen as these powerful intermediaries capable of channeling divine energy, interceding on behalf of the living.
So it's not about, like, worshiping them as gods.
Right.
It's about recognizing them as, I guess, conduits to a higher power.
Exactly. And he even points out, Saint Cyprian of Antioch, the patron saint of Grimoire magic.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I know.
It really makes you wonder about the hidden depths of these,
These seemingly familiar figures.
It's intriguing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hi everyone! Next week we will have 3 podcasts about very interesting books on Chaos Magic because, although they are not specific lines, they are very useful to those who are willing to use them, both in concrete jungles and in nature. This is here at...
Chaos Magic time.
Speaking of powerful figures, right. Let's talk about Baphomet.
Oh, yeah.
This is where things get really mind-blowing. White, he goes deep into this symbol.
He does.
Tracing it back to ancient pagan imagery, exploring its evolution throughout history. He even calls Baphomet a symbol bomb.
That's right.
Packed with layers of meaning and esoteric knowledge.
And don't forget the Knights Templar.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, White suggests that Baphomet might actually represent the survival of Hermetic wisdom.
Wow. So like a hidden tradition passed down through the ages.
Exactly.
It's a pretty tantalizing idea, hinting at the existence of ancient mysteries still alive today.
I think what he's really getting at is, he's encouraging us to question the established narratives.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a theme here.
To dig deeper, uncover those hidden truths.
Right.
That lie beneath the surface of everything.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift our focus now to the power of myth and storytelling. White argues that myths aren't just fairy tales. They're actually blueprints for reality.
Yeah, he says that they operate on a different kind of logic, what he calls dream logic.
Interesting.
And that they can have real-world effects.
Really?
He even brings up Carl Jung's experiences with poltergeist activity while he was working on his Red Book as evidence.
So it's like myths are tapping into a deeper level of reality almost.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's highlighting the importance of understanding, the power of myth and how it can be used to influence the deeper layers of consciousness where magic takes root.
And to add another layer to this, he even talks about J.R.R. Tolkien's son and this encounter with a nightmarish owl figure. It really blurs the lines between mythology, personal experience, and the unknown.
It does. It reminds us that the boundaries, between what's real and what's imaginary, they're a lot more fluid than we might think.
Yeah.
And exploring those spaces can open us up to deeper truths about reality itself.
It's fascinating.
I mean, it seems like White's constantly pushing us to embrace, a more magical view of the world, one that acknowledges the interconnectedness of everything and the power of the unseen.
And that brings us to another concept he explores, adventurism.
Yeah.
He's not talking about like globetrotting,
right, or,
adrenaline rushes.
It's deeper than that.
It's like an essential component of the magical path. Why do you think that is?
Well, he connects it back to our ancestors, our hunter-gatherer past. He suggests that we're hardwired to seek out new experiences and challenges. It's in our DNA.
I can see that. But I mean, some might say that adventurism is, luxury.
Yeah.
Something only for the privileged few.
That's a common misconception. And White, he addresses that directly.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that adventurism isn't about social status or material wealth. It's about a willingness to step outside your comfort zone, to embrace the unknown, and to really engage with the world in a more meaningful way.
So it's about cultivating that spirit of adventure in our everyday lives.
Regardless of, our circumstances.
There's a quote, actually, from a 16th century Portuguese chronicler that he shares in the book. And it speaks to this, expansive nature of a life well lived.
Okay, so speaking of aligning ourselves with, the rhythms of life, let's talk about White's critique of traditional magical calendars. He seems to think they're a little outdated.
Yeah, he argues that many of them are still based on, old agricultural frameworks. That don't really resonate with our modern lives anymore.
Right.
He wants us to create our own personalized ritual year, one that really aligns with our individual needs and aspirations.
So it's about taking ownership of our practice.
Absolutely.
Tailoring it
Yeah.
to our own circumstances.
He even talks about putting the magic back in astrology,
Oh, interesting.
using it as a tool for understanding those cosmic cycles and timing our magical actions for maximum effectiveness. Yeah, that makes sense. So instead of just blindly following some, preset calendar,
Right.
we can use astrology to work in harmony with those energies.
Exactly. And White even shares his own personal ritual year calendar as an example. It's this blend of planetary events, saint days, and even like hero days celebrating figures like J.R. Tolkien and Giordano Bruno.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's really cool. It shows that you can really create something that reflects,
Yes.
your own interests.
Absolutely. It's about making it personal, making it meaningful. And speaking of making magic, let's talk about White's collection of spells.
Yes.
He's got a diverse range from invoking place spirits to banishing unwanted entities.
I was really intrigued by the Wake the City invocation.
Oh, yeah.
It's about connecting with the,
The spirits of a place?
yeah. And that seems really relevant now,
Uh-huh.
in our increasingly urbanized world.
It's a beautiful way to cultivate that sense of place and to recognize those unseen forces that shape our environment. And then there's the Seine River spell for making wishes. It's simple,
Oh, nice.
but it's powerful. It taps into that energy of a sacred waterway.
And of course, you can't forget the confounding defixio.
Right.
That sounds like,
That's a handy one to have.
yeah, like a good one to have in your back pocket. It's about protecting yourself from those who would,
Yeah, those who would do you harm.
wish you harm. Exactly.
His collection really emphasizes the practical application of magic in everyday life.
Yeah, like that.
And he even shares some personal anecdotes, like his experience acquiring a shoe stone, a magical crystal, used for scrying.
It sounds like those tools, they have a way of finding us
They do.
when we're ready.
When you're ready, they appear.
Okay, so now for something a little unexpected. White introduces these tridopators, these ancient ancestral gods.
Yes.
They've been largely forgotten.
They're fascinating.
He even gives instructions for building a tridopatron,
Yeah.
a sacred space for honoring them and seeking their guidance. It's a reminder that, our magical lineage goes way beyond the confines of,
Of recorded history.
recorded history. It's like tapping into a primal source of power, connecting with,
The ancestors who came before us.
yeah, exactly.
And he also digs into some really old practices, like a Babylonian exorcism ritual.
Oh, wow.
From a clay tablet in the British Museum.
That sounds intense.
It is. It involves invoking, angels and saints to banish those unwanted spirits from a home or space.
It's amazing how exorcism has been practiced across, cultures and time.
Yeah,
It highlights that enduring power of those rituals.
it really does.
And for those who are, drawn to the realm of fairy White, provides a ritual for conjuring the Sibyl, the prophetic oracle of the fairy realm. He even shares his own experience performing this ritual in the New Forest. It's a reminder that the realm of fairy is this potent source of magic and inspiration.
But you got to be careful.
You got to be careful, right?
You got to approach it with respect, with reverence.
Yeah, it's like stepping into this,
A world of enchantment.
yeah, this world of wonder,
But with its own dangers.
but also acknowledging,
Up a little bit.
potential dangers.
We are and live here to enjoy life. Avoiding this means avoiding being ourselves. One of the ways people like to live is by learning more. And that's why I make these podcasts about books and about chaos magic. Here in Brazil, we are all educated to be cheap. That hurt education to be socially accepted. So I thought that the popular objection to chaos magic would be very intense. I was wrong. Here people are eager to learn and practice things that work for us Brazilians. It's no different outside of Brazil, but since English is not our native language, communication is a bit rigid. Anyway, I now make podcasts in English because just as many other people also liked them. I believe it is important to use these podcasts as a basis for at least Chaos Magic group to start discussions about them. However, I must point out that groups that are not practitioners of Chaos Magic will be very surprised when they practice these works that I recommended. And also I will recommend. Let's keep our hunger for learning strong here in Brazil or anywhere on the world. Hugs.
And to guide our exploration even further, White provides this comprehensive reading list. He calls it the Black Library.
Oh, I love that.
I know. It's like a syllabus
It is, yeah.
for our magical education.
It's packed with books that explore, all these themes we've been talking about. From chaos magic and, psi research to UFOs and a history of esotericism.
It's a diverse collection, reflects his own interests and his belief that magic is an ongoing journey of discovery.
Absolutely. So you've got, Peter J. Carroll's foundational works on chaos magic, Rupert Sheldrake's research on the extended mind. There's something in there for anyone who wants to go deeper.
Absolutely.
And of course, no Black Library would be complete without, a few books on UFOs and the paranormal. Seems like he's open to exploring all sorts of,
all sorts of unexplained
phenomena.
From Jacques Vallée, exploring the multidimensional nature of UFOs, to Nick Redfern and his investigations into, the hidden history of UFO encounters. These books offer a glimpse into this strange world of high strangeness.
It's all about, I guess, expanding our understanding of what's possible, challenging those limits of our current worldview. Wow, Pieces of 8. It's so much more than just a guide to magic. It's like a call.
It is.
Re-enchant our lives and the world around us.
It really is. He challenges us to question everything we think we know about reality, and to embrace a more expansive view of consciousness, one that recognizes that interconnectedness of all things.
Yeah, and he reminds us that magic isn't just about, spells and rituals. It's about cultivating that sense of wonder and possibility.
Yeah.
Tapping into the power of myth and storytelling to shape our reality.
Absolutely. He wants us to become active participants in this unfolding mystery of existence, to explore the hidden depths of ourselves and to reclaim the magic that's been dormant within us.
I love how he talks about, creating our own personal ritual year. It's like connecting with the rhythms of the cosmos.
Right.
In a way that's meaningful to us.
In a way that resonates. Yeah. And his exploration of the saints, Baphomet, even the Tretopators, it challenges us to look beyond those traditional interpretations, to uncover those deeper layers of meaning.
Why it seems to be saying that magic is everywhere, if we just open our eyes and see it. It's about cultivating that sense of awe and reverence for the world around us.
He reminds us that this journey doesn't end with the book. It's just the beginning. Pieces of 8. It's like a treasure map guiding us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
He encourages us to experiment, to explore, to question, and never stop seeking that magic that's hidden in plain sight.
Absolutely. And maybe, just maybe, as White suggests, the key to unlocking that magic lies in reclaiming our connection to the devil, not as this figure of evil, but as an archetype of rebellion, of questioning authority, and of seeking knowledge beyond the confines of those accepted truths.
It's a pretty provocative idea. It challenges us to confront our fears.
It does.
And embrace the shadow side of existence.
Yeah, but within that shadow, there's potential for true liberation, for a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
So to wrap things up, Pieces of 8. It's a really fascinating exploration of consciousness, magic, and the nature of reality. It's packed with insights and practices that can help us to re-enchant our lives and the world around us.
It really is a must-read for anyone on the path.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the flame of enchantment burning bright.
Amen. Visions to see, a world full of power for you and for me. Pieces of 8, a new world to create. In the chaos, we are all part of the fate. What's survived and what's come to be. Gordon White's vision, setting us free. From remote vision to the Sumerian spells, the path to the spirits where the hidden truth dwells. The devil's dance, the saint's silent plea, all connected in this grand mystery. The science of the mind and the return of the soul.